Did you know that avoiding others as you age is far more common than you might think? If you've ever noticed yourself pulling away from people or simply finding comfort in your own company, you're not alone. In fact, this shift is perfectly natural. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. If anything, it often means you've grown wiser. This video is especially for anyone over 60 who has wondered why they no longer crave social interaction the way they once did. Today, we'll uncover 6 powerful but often overlooked reasons why this happens and why, in many cases, it's actually a healthy part of aging. Whether you've lost the desire to chat on the phone, attend social gatherings, or even make small talk with neighbors, there's nothing to feel guilty about. These changes are deeply human. And once you understand them, you can find peace with where you are in life while focusing on the connections that truly matter. If anyone has ever told you that you've become too quiet or less social than you used to be, this is your chance to understand the truth behind that change, without guilt and without pressure to go back to your old self. And stay with me until the end, because the final reason might surprise you, and even make you proud of the person you've become. Number 1, conversations feel less meaningful. One of the biggest reasons older adults start pulling away from others is that many conversations simply stop feeling meaningful. As we grow older, our sense of what truly matters deepens, and small talk no longer satisfies the way it once did. Gossip, endless chatter about trivial topics, or repetitive stories begin to feel empty. It's not that you're being rude or antisocial, it's just that your heart now craves depth, sincerity, and truth. When we were younger, we might have tolerated shallow conversations out of habit or politeness. We'd chat about the weather, sports, or TV shows simply to keep the conversation going. But as time passes, life teaches us hard lessons. We experience love, loss, regrets, growth, and transformation. And after all that, surface-level conversations just don't feel enough anymore. Take Richard, for example. He's 74 and used to meet his old friends every Friday at the local diner. But eventually, every conversation felt the same: complaints about politics, jokes at someone's expense, and the same old stories repeated over and over. No one ever asked how I was really doing, he told me. No one talked about what they were grateful for or what scared them. It felt like we were just wasting time. So, he quietly stopped going, not because he was angry, but because he wanted his remaining time to be spent on real connection, not empty repetition. That's why many older adults either seek out people who speak with intention or choose solitude when that isn't available. Sometimes, a quiet walk in the park or a peaceful moment alone can bring more comfort than sitting through another meaningless conversation. And that's nothing to be ashamed of, it's something to honor. It's a sign that you've reached a stage in life where your soul only has space for what's real. So, if you find yourself losing interest in certain conversations, don't panic. It simply means you've outgrown what no longer feeds your spirit. And there's incredible beauty in that. Number 2, a greater need for emotional safety. With age comes a deep appreciation for peace of mind. There comes a time when emotional safety matters more than the thrill of meeting new people or attending every social event. In our younger years, we might have ignored rude comments, overlooked betrayals, or tolerated gossip just to keep the peace. But now, things are different. You value your mental and emotional well-being above all else, and you naturally pull away from anyone or anything that threatens that. We begin to see life more clearly with age. Time has taught us that not every person is safe to open up to, and not every relationship is worth holding on to. Many older adults don't pull away from others out of anger or bitterness, they simply come to value emotional security above everything else. After a lifetime of hurt, disappointment, and moments of feeling misunderstood, there's a deep desire to be around people who truly see you, respect you, and make you feel safe. Not judged. Not dismissed. Not drained. And that's not asking for too much. That's asking for what you've earned through years of experience and growth. Emotional safety means being able to speak honestly without fear. It means no longer walking on eggshells or pretending to be someone you're not just to fit in. For seniors, this becomes even more important as the layers of pretense fade away and the focus shifts inward, toward authenticity, simplicity, and peace. But sadly, not every social environment provides that. So, what happens? Many people quietly withdraw, not from love, but from risk. Take Harold, for example. At 72, he realized that every time he spent an evening with his old bowling buddies, he left feeling judged instead of uplifted. Their jokes had grown sharper, their comments more dismissive. So Harold made a change. He stopped going. Instead, he began volunteering at a local animal shelter, where he found kindness, gratitude, and quiet companionship. He didn't lose his love for people, he simply found a better way to feel safe around them. It's also worth remembering that many older adults carry wounds that never fully healed, moments from the past when trust was broken or voices were silenced. As we age, those memories don't disappear. They teach us. They remind us to protect our emotional peace and surround ourselves only with those who nurture, not deplete us. Choosing fewer people to talk to isn't a retreat. It's an act of self-respect. It's choosing peace over noise. If you're still watching this video and this resonates with you, type number 2 in the comments so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and click that button. Your support helps us keep bringing you content that informs, comforts, and inspires. Now, let's move on to number 3, a shift in priorities and energy. As we get older, something changes, not just in our bodies, but in our hearts. We stop chasing after what's loud and start gravitating toward what's meaningful. One of the biggest reasons many older adults withdraw from constant social interaction is because they've learned to value their time and energy more than ever before. Simply put, not every gathering, every phone call, or every invitation is worth the emotional cost. In your younger years, you may have gone to every party, picked up every call, or said yes, just to avoid disappointing others. But once you reach your 60s or 70s, that urgency fades. You begin to see that peace of mind, rest, and quiet joys, like reading a good book, enjoying your morning coffee outdoors, or taking a slow walk, often bring more happiness than any forced conversation ever could. You've paid your dues in life. Now your time belongs to you. With age comes a beautiful kind of wisdom, the wisdom to say no without guilt and yes only when it truly feels right. This doesn't mean you've stopped caring about people. It simply means your priorities have shifted inward. You start asking yourself, does this bring me peace, instead of, will they be upset if I don't go? And that's not selfish. That's growth. That's freedom. Take Linda, for example. She used to be the life of the party, always organizing family dinners, always calling neighbors to chat. But as she entered her late 60s, she began to feel drained, not just physically, but emotionally. The conversations felt repetitive, the same stories replayed over and over, and no one seemed truly present. Linda didn't stop loving people, she simply learned to love her own peace more. Linda realized that no one was truly asking how she was doing. So, she quietly stepped back. These days, she spends more time tending her garden, writing in her journal, and talking only to a few close friends who genuinely listen. And you know what? She's never felt more fulfilled. This shift in energy isn't about cutting people out, it's about realignment. At a certain age, you begin craving quality over quantity. You learn to protect your mental space. And it's completely okay to turn down a lunch date just to rest your legs or skip a family gathering because you need quiet. That doesn't make you antisocial, it means you're finally honoring what your body and spirit truly need. So, if you've noticed yourself avoiding social situations more than before, don't beat yourself up. Instead, see it for what it really is, a powerful act of self-respect. You're no longer living to please everyone. You're living with intention. Number 4, accumulated emotional disappointment. One of the most overlooked reasons older adults pull away from social circles is emotional disappointment, the kind that quietly builds up over the years. It's rarely one big heartbreak that changes you. Instead, it's the slow drip of letdowns, unmet expectations, and shallow conversations that leave you wondering, what's the point? When you're younger, you give people chance after chance. You forgive quickly, hoping they'll change. You keep calling, keep showing up, keep smiling even when it hurts. But as you get older, you start to recognize the patterns. You remember who stood by you during hard times, and who vanished. You notice who only calls when they need something and who actually listens without interruption. And slowly, without anger or drama, you step back. This isn't about bitterness, it's wisdom. You finally realize your emotional energy is precious, and you refuse to keep pouring it into relationships that leave you feeling unseen, unheard, or used. Take George, for example. He's 75. For years, he was the dependable one, attending every birthday party, helping friends with repairs, even driving people to their appointments. But when his wife passed away, the phone stopped ringing. Days turned into weeks, and nobody checked in. That moment changed George. He didn't grow angry, he grew clear. Now, he doesn't return every call. He doesn't say yes to every favor. He's polite, kind, but distant. Not because he's grumpy, but because he's learned not to chase after what doesn't reciprocate. And here's the truth, many older adults experience this shift. After decades of giving, you start measuring relationships not in gifts or favors, but in effort, kindness, and presence. When that balance isn't there, you quietly let go. You stop waiting for apologies. You stop hoping people will finally understand. Instead, you choose peace. And that peace often comes in solitude. But here's the beautiful part, solitude is not loneliness. Loneliness feels empty. Solitude feels full of thought, reflection, gratitude, and even healing. Avoiding people, in this case, is not rejection. It's protection. It's a quiet boundary that says, I matter, too. If this resonates with you, type number 4 in the comments so I know you're still here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to do so. Your support helps us keep creating content that brings clarity and comfort to your life. Now, let's move to number 5, physical discomfort in social settings. Another subtle but very real reason many older adults begin to avoid social gatherings is physical discomfort. As we age, our bodies change. Noise feels louder. Chairs feel harder. Crowded rooms feel overwhelming. Number 5, physical discomfort in social settings. As we age, even simple things like seating, lighting, or the length of time spent standing or sitting begin to matter more than we realize. While these details may seem small to others, for older adults, they can turn a pleasant gathering into a painful experience. Think about it, a noisy restaurant with bright lights, hard chairs, and crowded tables may once have felt exciting. But now, that same environment can trigger headaches, stiff joints, or even dizziness. Instead of enjoying yourself, you find your eyes drifting toward the nearest exit, silently counting down the minutes until it's polite to leave. This isn't about being difficult, it's your body sending you a clear message, this isn't comfortable anymore. Many seniors begin saying no to invitations, not because they've lost interest in the people, but because the setting itself has become overwhelming. The background noise makes conversations impossible to follow. The chairs offer no support. The room is either too hot or too cold. And perhaps worst of all, no one else seems to notice. This often leads to a quiet but important question, is it worth it? Take Marie, for example. At 79, she used to love her weekly bridge game with friends. But over time, the chairs began to hurt her hips, and the laughter, once joyful, started feeling painfully loud in her ears. Not wanting to complain, she simply started saying, maybe next time. Eventually, the invitations stopped, and surprisingly, what replaced her guilt was a sense of relief. This kind of withdrawal isn't about losing interest in people. It's about acknowledging the changing needs of your body. When you know certain situations will leave you exhausted, achy, or overstimulated, it's perfectly reasonable to say no. Unfortunately, others may misinterpret this shift. They might say you're not as fun as you used to be, or that you've changed. But the truth is simple: every stage of life comes with new limits, and honoring those limits is an act of self-care. The next time you turn down an invitation, not because of the people, but because of the discomfort, remind yourself of this: you're not missing out. You're choosing wisely. You're protecting the comfort and peace you've earned. And there's incredible strength in that. Number 6, emotional simplicity becomes a priority. In our younger years, we often feel obligated to keep a wide circle of connections: childhood friends, coworkers, neighbors, acquaintances from our kids' schools. We juggle personalities, manage conflicts, and give energy to relationships that sometimes give little back. But something remarkable happens as we reach our later years: our emotional world begins to simplify. The pressure to impress fades. The urge to please everyone weakens. And in its place grows a deep, steady craving for peace. This is why many older adults begin stepping back from relationships that once seemed so important. It's not because they've stopped caring. It's because they've started caring more intentionally. They no longer have the patience for petty drama, hidden competition, or one-sided friendships. Emotional complexity now feels heavy and exhausting. After a lifetime of navigating other people's emotions, it makes perfect sense to finally long for emotional stillness. Take Henry, for example. At 81, he decided to stop attending his weekly poker nights. Not because he disliked the game, but because every gathering had turned into gossip, tension, and thinly veiled jabs. He realized that each time he left, he felt worse than when he arrived. Now, instead of poker nights filled with stress, Henry plays quiet games of chess with his granddaughter or sits by the lake feeding the ducks. That small change gave him something he didn't even know he was missing: emotional stillness. And as we age, that stillness becomes priceless. Our emotional bandwidth narrows, not because we're weaker, but because we've learned what truly matters. By choosing simplicity, you're not pushing people away. You're drawing closer to yourself. And in that calm space, you'll find more peace, more clarity, and yes, even more joy than ever before. Because with age comes wisdom. We've seen how easily peace can be disturbed by the wrong company, how one careless comment can steal the joy from an entire day. So now, we choose more carefully. We keep our circles smaller but warmer. We speak less but listen more. And we stop expecting from others what we've learned to give ourselves: peace, comfort, and understanding. What many don't realize is that this emotional simplicity isn't about withdrawing from life, it's about deepening it. It's not a rejection of connection. It's the refinement of it. It's about nurturing only those relationships that feel safe, kind, and truly mutual. And if that means avoiding a few people along the way, so be it. That's not loss, it's freedom. So, if you've noticed yourself stepping back from certain people, places, or emotional obligations, don't feel guilty. That's not weakness. That's your soul making space for peace. It's your spirit saying, "I've had enough noise. Now, I want quiet. I want ease. I want what truly matters." And you've earned the right to honor that. If you're still watching and this resonates with you, type number 6 in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and turn on the bell icon. Your support helps us continue creating content that comforts, inspires, and gives you the tools to live a more meaningful life. Now, for some final thoughts. As we grow older, a quiet strength begins to settle in our hearts. It's a wisdom that no longer needs to prove itself. And with that wisdom often comes a gentle pull away from the crowd. It's not sadness. It's not bitterness. It's clarity. It's the kind of clarity that only comes from living through the noise, the expectations, the responsibilities, and finally realizing what truly matters, and what doesn't. So, if you find yourself choosing peace over parties, solitude over small talk, and authenticity over obligation, don't question it. That's not a sign that something is wrong with you, it's proof that you've lived long enough to understand what your soul really needs. For some, that means quiet mornings spent watching the sunrise with a cup of coffee. For others, it's walking through nature or getting lost in a favorite book. These aren't signs of social decline, they're signs of emotional maturity. Think about it, once upon a time, you may have worried about who was calling or inviting you out. But now, when the phone doesn't ring, you feel relief instead of rejection. That shift didn't happen overnight. It came from a lifetime of lessons, some hard, some gentle, that taught you not all connections are meant to last. And that's okay. Letting go of what no longer serves you doesn't make you cold, it makes you wise. Pulling back is not an act of isolation, it's an act of love for yourself. It gives you the space to rest, reflect, and rediscover the simple joy of your own company. It frees you from draining interactions and allows you to pour your energy into the people and things that truly lift your spirit. So, the next time someone wonders why you're not as social as you used to be, just smile. Because you know the truth, you're not retreating, you're evolving. You're choosing yourself. You're choosing peace, authenticity, and meaning over noise, pressure, and performance. And if that isn't growth, I don't know what is. Thank you for spending this time with us today. We'd love to hear from you. Share one thing you've learned in the comments and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your words not only inspire us, they inspire others, too. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content that speaks to the heart. Until next time, remember, peace isn't something you find, it's something you choose. And you, my friend, have earned the right to choose it every single day.